everybody. This is your favorite gentleman, Marcus of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today you all are in for a very, 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 very special treat. We are going to talk that is unique, but also very important, is your happiness. And this man is the man of the hour, and this couldn't have been a better time, a better place. We just came out of a pandemic, and so what we need to discuss is your happiness. And I have just the gentleman for you. So stay tuned, stay with us, stay engaged. You won't want to miss a second of this dynamic speaker. So without further ado, help me ride this roller coaster to the very, very end. So here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and it's your favorite gentleman, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast, and today we have Mr. Mike Duffy. He is a philanthropist and an author of the 5-book series on happiness, including his top bestseller, The Happiness Book, A Positive Guide to Happiness. This happiness book for men and the happiness book for kids, volumes 1 and 2. This is a dynamic series that focuses on the core of getting back to what we lost track of, which is ourselves. He has interviewed the top leaders, athletes, rock stars, CEOs, and celebrities in the world on happiness, work-life balance, resilience, and success for his books. This is the place to be, and this man is the place to do it. Mr. Mike Duffy is the CEO of Happiness Wealth Management in San Carlos, California. He has over 27 years of experience in finance. This man's resume is extensive. He started the Happiness Hall of Fame to recognize and encourage and celebrate people and organizations that make other people happy. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the stage the incredible, the amazing Mr. Mike Duffy. Welcome to the Gentleman Style Podcast stage, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic now that I'm with you. I feel your energy. We're going to have fun. I encourage everybody that can hear the sound of my voice to stay to the end. We're going to share some great secrets of success, happiness, and joy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One more round of applause, y'all. So, Mr. Duffy, thank you for joining us on Gentleman Style Podcast stage. Diving right in, I ask every successful person this question because it's absolutely important, and we want to know, what is one habit that you do day in and day out every single day that has really set the tone and really led the charge for your success in business, in life? What's something that you do? It could be yoga, meditation, a passage of scripture, a word that you read. What is it that you do consistently, no matter what, that really lets you know this is going to be a great day?
I have a homeless outreach. So every day I go out and I find my friends on the street and I ask them how they're doing. I care for them financially. I know their names, and we pray right on the street. Whenever I see a homeless person, I don't feel bad. I see it as an opportunity to make a new friend.
Well, tell us, what's the mindset behind that? There's a science to this, right? What is that? That's how you know you're having a good day, is when you meet someone new? Or is it the spirit of giving? Or what's the mindset behind this?
You know what it is? 1,000 years ago, St. Augustine said that it is in giving that we receive. Right? There's two kinds of happiness. Most people believe that happiness is hedonic happiness. That's the joy that you receive when you give yourself things. Maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's a vacation, or maybe it's shopping. But that goes away very quickly. Eudaimonic happiness is a sustainable happiness that you get by making other people happy.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Sir, you have a phenomenal mind. You have an incredible spirit and an incredible energy. You are a dynamic speaker, and you teach to this and you coach to this. That's why you have your book series. Tell us, who is someone that inspired you? You could do anything. Your mind, you have an incredible mind that could lead you down any path you chose. What led you down this path? Who inspired you, or a mentor who guided you down this path, is if there's any?
You know, my father was an incredible man of faith. He had a faith of iron. And he said, you know what? You don't have to fear. You don't have to worry because God has your back. So, you know, fear, if you break it down, it's false evidence appearing real. And fear is what stops everybody dead in their tracks from realizing their dreams. Okay? And let me break that down. So in all of our hearts, we have a dream. We have something that God gave us that is associated with our purpose. We're here for a reason. It's not just a chaotic scramble that somehow we landed in this body where we're planted today. We're here for a reason, right? So let that reason out. Now, Brene Brown, who's got a very well-watched TED Talk, she's a professor at University of Houston. She has studied vulnerability and courage. And she says, live in the arena, not the cheap seats. Now, what does that mean? Have you ever watched an MMA fight or a boxing fight and all the cheap seats are raining in the booze, right? Because you're always going to have haters. No matter what you do, there's always going to be people against you. Some of those people are going to be in your family, right? So don't expect that when you produce this dream of yours that everyone's going to get behind it and march down the street in a parade. No, you're going to have obstacles. Have you ever watched a fighter just stop fighting and turn around and say, hey, stop booing me? No, because they are aligned with their purpose, right? They don't let their hands down. What most people fail to understand, when they are in that arena and when they have their hands up, the person that they're fighting is themselves. You are the greatest obstacle to achieving what you want to achieve in life.
That's it.
So
That's
put
it.
your hands down and stop fighting yourself. Believe in yourself. Have faith. Again, you were created for a purpose. Let that purpose flow. And let it be a noble purpose, not one of hoarding, not one of selfishness, but one of giving, a life of giving, a journey of giving.
That's so true. What would you say to that young man or that young girl? Because we are comprised of our life experiences. So the young boy or the young girl who grew up in poverty, who grew up with life was just against them, their back was against the wall. They may not have had the best education. They may not have had the best school systems, and just every way they turn, there's an obstacle. What would you say to that person, that young boy or girl who's struggling to find that happiness in the chaos?
Understand that we serve a loving God, and He is for you. He is not against you. Jesus says, I've come to give in abundance, right? Not to take away. It's not where you are today. You must understand this. It's where you're going to go. With the internet, it's kind of leveled the playing field to a certain extent. You can research all of the knowledge of human history with the press of a button. So stop just hanging out. Stop getting high. Stop getting drunk. You have a mission to accomplish. And along the way, listen, what I'm most known for, the reason why I'm even on your podcast, is 3 letters. P plus P equals H. Purpose plus progress equals happiness. Okay? Let me break that down. So 10 years ago, and I encourage everybody to get out your phone, go to your notes pad or whatever note system you have of taking it down. Take out a piece of paper, because this is going to change your life. I've changed many lives through this formula. On the left side, I want you to put purpose. All of us have multiple purposes. For me, when I first wrote this down 10 years ago, I said, be the best husband to my wife. Across from that, write progress. These are the steps you need to make in order to fulfill your purpose. So I wrote down every Saturday night is date night. You see, I knew that it's much cheaper to hire a babysitter than it is a divorce attorney, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's a 51% divorce rate. That's not my destiny. I love my wife. I was blessed with my wife. And I said, you know what? Sometimes it's going to take sacrifice. I would say to her every Saturday night, what do you want to do? What movie do you want to see? What restaurant do you want to go to? You see, my father said to me, when you first get married, you butt heads. And then as the years go on, you start to become one. Now, as you become one, if you are one person, why would you want to be derogatory towards your spouse? Why would you want to put down your spouse? Because you're only putting down yourself. That's like punching yourself in the face. It makes no sense at all. Uplift your spouse. Then we reverse the 51% divorce rate. Then we reverse all the terrible marriage failures and all the problems that come along with that. Bring love into the equation. Put yourself second. Put your spouse first. The law of reciprocity will kick in. When you are good to someone, they want to be good back to you. So if you keep being good to your spouse, they're not going to want to fight with you. They realize that you're sacrificing on a deep emotional level, right? So that's number one. Number two, I said, I want to be the best parent to my two kids. So progress step, coach every sport they're in. And I put them in everything. Even sports I didn't like soccer. I'm sorry to the soccer fans out there. I just don't like soccer, right? But I did it anyway. And then third was be the best financial advisor to my clients, right? And the steps that I had to take, which is forge relationships with some of the best money managers and economists in the world, which I've done, so that I could give them the best advice for investing their money. So with your multiple purposes, write those down. And, you know, I haven't had a drink in 8 years, and it's a very powerful story. You know, what happened was I was working out and I was listening on my headphones through my iPhone. And all of a sudden, my text line starts blowing up, and it's two of my three sisters. And my youngest sister has a daughter. At the time, she was 3 years old. And she says, Michael, pray for Carlin Rose. The doctor said to take her home to die. You see, Carlin had terminal lung cancer, hard lumps in her baby lungs. And she had been in a coma for 3 months. She'd been in the hospital for 6. And I said, Lord, if you will spare this child's life, I will never have a drink of alcohol again. I had to do a sacrifice of praise. Well, let's fast forward 8 years. I haven't had a drop of alcohol. And that beautiful 3-year-old is now 11 and cancer-free. That is beautiful today. Offer it all up to God. But what I thought was my sacrifice took a lid off of my life. The gift of sobriety, of continuous sobriety, will bring you such blessings. It means that you can wake up in any morning and have clarity of thought. It means that you don't have to miss anything because you're hungover. It means that you don't insult people when you really don't want to. It's a beautiful blessing. And for folks right now that maybe are under the addiction of drugs and alcohol, what I recommend is to give it up for 30 days. It takes 27 days to have a new habit and see what happens. I believe that a miracle will happen in your life.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. We have a question from our VIP sponsor, Miss Erica Holmes. She's a VIP sponsor of the show. Thank you for your sponsorship. She asked, how do you feel about the fixed and growth mindset?
You know, that's a great question. First of all, Erica, I'm glad you're thinking these thoughts. I love growth mindset. So I am friends and in the hall with I'm sorry, his name escapes me. I'm 54 years old now. This happens.
You look good. You look good.
Thank you. So, but anyway, Eduardo Brasino, He has 2 TED Talks on growth mindset, and he has his company. All he does is go around the world and talk about growth mindset. So when I have questions about growth mindset, I call up Eduardo. He's a wonderful man. Works at used to be Stanford educated, studied under Carol Dweck, who is responsible for growth mindset. And what you always want to do is grow, stretch, learn, gain new skills. It fulfills you as a person. It gives you something to strive for instead of all of the negative things that people go off the lighted path to do, whether it's drugs, alcohol, straying from your spouse or loved one. You can stay on the lighted path by growing your mind, by understanding that if we could take, in the late 60s, basically a tin can with less computers than is on your current phone right now, get men to the moon. But here's the real trick. Get them back to Earth in one piece. You can do anything. And it's only gotten easier because of the internet, right? You're in the beautiful Caribbean islands. I'm in California. We're making this beautiful podcast to tell people that life is beautiful and life is worth living. What can you do in your life that Marcus is doing?
Don't go anywhere, y'all. We have one quick commercial break. Stay tuned. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Good day, podcast listeners. This is your boy, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I wanted to let you guys know that we will be rolling out a new feature and adding a join sponsor button next to the subscriber button here at the bottom of your screen. Once you click the button, it will display 3 membership levels. Gentleman Gentry, which is our entry level, Duke Duchess, which is our season level, and the Emperor and Empress, which is our most sophisticated level, which you will receive unique perks and benefits at each differing level and gain access to our community tab. We will also be sharing polls, upcoming events, and interviews, as well as receive feedback from our sponsors directly. Your support helps me find new and exciting guests to bring to the stage live. Well, in order to get the higher end speakers, it requires, you guessed it, money. So thank you for tuning in to my channel. And if becoming a sponsor sounds good to you, then select the join button below and choose your desired sponsor level. Let's continue to grow and serve the future of generations of men and women to come. Love you guys. Bye. Welcome back, y'all. If you are just tuning into the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, today we have a CEO, philanthropist, founder of the Happiness Project, Mr. Mike Duffy, and he is he's the principal who's founded and started an organization to help people find the happiness within themselves and to get back to that happiness. And he just broke down for us the 3 principles, the P equals H, which is purpose, progress, equals happiness, and how you get to that happiness even when your world is falling apart around you, that you can do this. So you have so we're talking about happiness, but I wanted to touch on, you have a finance background. You're a financial advisor and educator as well. How should money is one of the biggest things around divorce. It's one of the top 3 things. Money is leading one of the divorce rates. How should people invest their money, especially in a good, healthy way to add to that happiness? Because if your money is funny, if your money isn't right, you're not going to be happy.
I always tell people, search out professional help. Here's why. When I meet with my clients, I meet with both the husband and the wife. So everything is out on the table. A lot of times the do-it-yourselfer husband, it's usually the husband, he takes the savings and he puts it in a fad stock, and then it drops 50%. Ouch. And then he doesn't know how to tell the wife. And then she finds out about it. She says, why didn't you tell me? All of that's eliminated. You sit down with a financial planner. You tell the financial planner what your goals are. He takes a look at all of your assets, where you want to go. Do you want to educate your children? Tells you how much that's going to cost. Increases those fees with inflation. And then thereby, there's nothing held back between the spouses. So it's worth its weight in gold to sit down with a professional who's been doing it a long time and actually knows how to invest your money.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And so that leads me to a great point. So I need money. People lost their jobs. There were millions and millions of Americans who lost their jobs. So the investing and sitting down with a financial advisor, because I can't come to you with no money. I have to have something. And so there are many people who didn't like their jobs or don't like their jobs today. And so how do you tell couples? How do you speak to couples? How do you speak to individuals to live their best life now? And how should people find and have a better work-life balance and make that work?
Well, in terms of if you're unemployed right now, what I have to really drive home that's not talked about a lot is sometimes these bad things happen for a reason. I remember I was a waiter during college. Both my parents had a 6th grade education. There was no money in my house, right? And there was no course for money. So I had to learn it all myself. But I remember being a waiter down in the South Street Seaport in Manhattan, and only one chef showed up for this gigantic restaurant. And, the place was packed with one chef. And all the food was taking 45 minutes, an hour and a half. So it's not the waiter's fault. And I kept going up to the table saying, I really apologize. This is what's happening. And these people didn't care. And they called over the manager, and she's just like, you need to fire that waiter. Our food took so long. Now, the thing is, the manager knew what was going on. He was intimately aware. But he fired me anyway. And all my waiter friends there, because we'd become like a family, were like, I can't believe this. This is so unfair. I can't believe this. Let me tell you, that was a lousy job I got fired from. And then the next job I got was fantastic. I actually made a lot of money. The best thing that could have happened to me was getting fired from that job. It also told me that life wasn't fair, because it's not. So if you have lost your job right now, why don't you choose yourself? Go back to your heart. What is it that you love doing? We got one shot at life. Do what you love. If you don't have a job, now's the time. Give it a shot. Now, if you do have a job and you're not happy at what you're doing right now, this is the perfect time to start your side hustle. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as I'm supposed to do X, so I'm going to quit my job. We don't know how we're going to pay our mortgage or educate our children. No, that's crazy talk. You have to live in reality. You have to pay your bills. But what you can do is you can start the steps to getting towards where you want to go, one step at a time, and choose yourself. I was a senior vice president at one of the largest brokerage firms in the world. Very grateful for the 18 years experience that provided me. But I knew it was time to start my own ship. I had always wanted to have my own business, and I started Happiness Wealth Management. I cannot tell you how happy I am to be my own boss. I love to talk about the science of happiness because the science is irrefutable. It's always repeating. And one of the greatest things you can do for yourself is to be your own boss. It's a great indicator of happiness.
Love it. Thank you. We're going around the gambit, y'all. So, Mike, we got kids. We got families. The kids are at home. They're no longer in schools. How do I teach my children to become more resilient? Because as life progresses, it's going to get harder. It's going to get tougher. How do I train my kids up so that they become more resilient to the challenges of life?
I love that word, challenge. You have to understand when it comes to resilience that these bad things are not happening to you. They're happening for you. That's the mindset. Everything in life is mindset, right? So you say, okay, this is what's happened. I'm a silver linings guy. What can come out of this? What is the good that can come out of this? And you see, the thing is, you can't just be plugged into your television and just watch shows or sports and stuff like that. You have to take an active role in your life. You have to go out there and you have to find mentors. It's uncomfortable, but get this down. I've spent my life in the uncomfortable zone and it's paid off ridiculously well. That's where you gain your wealth. That's where you gain your knowledge. That's where you gain your self-esteem. You need to go out and find the people that are doing what you want to do and have them mentor you. You have to work for them, sometimes for free. Most people have Saturday and Sunday off. If you know somebody who has a business you want to get into, say, look, you don't have to pay me. I just want to learn. That's how most people start. You can do it. Do what you love.
I can't let you go without touching on this. You started the Happiness Hall of Fame to recognize and encourage and celebrate people and organizations that make other people happy. Why did you start the Happiness Foundation Hall of Fame? And who are some people that are already in it? Are you able to disclose or share who are some people recognized in the Hall of Fame?
So about 10 years ago, I just couldn't take it anymore. I said, there's just too much bad news. Every time you open up your laptop or you turn on the television, it's nothing but bad news. I wanted to be the antidote to the bad news. I wanted to shine a light. I wanted to encourage, celebrate, and recognize people and organizations that make other people happy. So in the hall is Muhammad Ali, who I got to spend time with. They invited me out to their museum several years ago, a number of years ago. Dolly Parton, the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry, the San Francisco Giants, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the Wounded Warrior Project, Derek Jeter, Serena Williams, Tom Petty, Greg Allman, Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin, on and on and on. Amazing people that have given us joy throughout the ages.
Miss Erica asked a very powerful question and an important question about marriage. She's talking about marriage and relationships. What advice would you give a couple that you're counseling? And if you even mention this in some of your books, who are introverted and extroverted, to give themselves that perfect work-life, that relationship balance, not even work-life balance, but perfect harmonious balance in their relationship?
Erica, you are asking 5-star questions. I'm very impressed. You need your own podcast. Listen, have you heard the phrase opposites attract? It's usually an introvert and an extrovert. My wife is an introvert. I'm an extrovert. And by the way, I used to be an introvert. I was the shyest person in the whole world. As time goes on, you can change yourself. You know, back in the 70s, people were all about, oh, I got to go find myself. I got to move this place. I got to do this drug. I got to find myself. Bob Dylan said, you don't find yourself. You create yourself. What is it that you want to be? You know, a lot of introverts say, oh, I wish I could be as extroverted as some other person. So then do it. Who's holding you back besides yourself? That's nobody. True. It's you. Yeah. Be who you want to be. Because time's running out, folks. We're not here forever. Enjoy yourself. Be who you want to be. Create the reality that you want to live in. It's all in your hands.
Thank you for that question, Miss Erica Holmes. Appreciate it. She asked, are there any regular people in the Hall of Fame?
Everybody's a regular person in the Hall of Fame. They've just done extraordinary things. And, you know, people say to me, what did you learn about meeting all these famous people? I said, what I learned was that they're just ordinary folks like you and me, except they had a purpose and they stayed to it. And by staying with their purpose, they impacted the world on a grand scale.
Perfect. Sir, where can we get a copy of the happiness book?
Listen, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get all of my books for free. Just go to Amazon. They're all there. And if you like, the whole concept of the Happiness Hall of Fame, just go to our website, happinesshalloffame.com, and there you'll find wonderful acceptance speeches. Every year at the Stanford University, we have our induction ceremony, and there's great words of wisdom that is shared by some of these amazing people.
Powerful. Powerful, powerful, powerful. This has been impactful. This has been a powerful episode, a dynamic episode, and I told you guys that we were going to bring this powerhouse to the stage, and I'm so glad we did. I work hard, y'all. I work hard to find these incredible, phenomenal guests. Sir, how can we connect with you? How can we grow with you? How can we grow and learn more? Websites, links.
Sure.
How can we connect with the movement that you're on?
So one of my favorite things to do is do public speaking. So if you're having an event, you need a keynote speaker, just go to MikeDuffySpeaks.com. And if you've got questions about money, you need a financial advisor, go to happinesswealthmanagement.com.
Perfect. Connect. We must connect. We must get to a better place. The train has left the station, y'all, but it's not too late to hop on board. This is the time to get to a better place, to find your happiness, to find your core. This is dynamic. Sir, I want to say this to you publicly. Don't ever give up. The world is changed by you every single day. The world is influenced by you every single day. And we need you. We need what you're doing. And so please don't ever quit, because we are impacted by you every single day.
I appreciate it, Marcus. And don't you ever give up. I see amazing things in your future. God bless you, my friend. And thank you for having me on today.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Absolutely. And thank you all for tuning in to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I hope this message has served you. I hope this message has helped you, taken you to another level in your happiness and in that foundation, in getting to a better place spiritually, mentally, and a better marriage, a better relationship throughout. And so thank you all for tuning in. Like I end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your families, and of course, take care of business. This is Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast, your favorite gentleman, and Mr. Mike Duffy of the Happiness Hall of Fame, and Mr. Mike Duffy Speaks. Love you guys. Bye.